Hello, everyone. Good evening from Dhaka, Bangladesh, and a warm welcome to all our guests and participants from around the world. I am Nazifa Anjum. I'm currently a student from the Department of Information Science and Library Management at the University of Dhaka. And tonight, I would be your host for the international webinar on global perspectives on school library management and best practices, lessons for Bangladesh. This event is proudly organized by the Librarian Voice in celebration of the in the celebration of the International School Library Month 2025. Tonight we have a vital discussion where our guests would share their strategic insights on how we can implement their advices in the libraries here in Bangladesh and make them better. At this point, I would like to welcome our speakers. It is my privilege to welcome Louisa Markwa, Dr. Manasiri Abdul Majid, and Zakir Hussain. And I apologize if I have mispronounced anyone's name. All right. The Liberian Voice was established in 2018, and it has worked to actively encourage the people of our profession, people of Elias in Bangladesh, and information science professionals. Our founder was Shahzada Masood Anwarul Haq. He was also our founding editor, and our organization works in twofold for the public and for the professionals. For the public, it creates awareness, supports community libraries, and organizes literacy programs, especially for children. And for professionals, it serves as a key platform for library professionals to collaborate, share ideas, and receive training and have digital access across the country. Our current editor of Librarian Voice is Dr. Kanat Nurul Islam, who is also working as a deputy director at the Chief Advisor's Office. He is the founder and convener of Open Access Bangladesh. At this point, I would like to request Dr. Kanat Nurul Islam, sir, to brief us on the Librarian Voice. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Uh, Hello, good evening, honorable guest, distinguished panelists, and respected librarians, educators, and participants from around the world. Good evening, and everyone, welcome to all of you. It's my great pleasure and honor as the editor of Librarian Voice to welcome you to today's international webinar on global perspective on school library management and best practices lessons for Bangladesh. Uh, this event being held in celebration of International School Library Month 2025, a time when school libraries across the globe come together to celebrate learning, reading, and the power of access to knowledge. The theme this year encourages us to look beyond the border to explore innovative practices and to reimagine the role of school libraries in shaping informed, creative, and compassionate learners. Today, we are deeply honored to have among us three distinguished panelists whose wisdom and experience will truly enrich this event. Our distinguished panelist, Luisa Marquardt, the faculty member, Department of Education, Roma Tre University, Italy, whose visions and leadership have been instrumental in advancing education and literacy. Our special guest, and another panelist, Dr. Mayasari Abdul Majid, Library Director, Lead International School Malaysia, and the Chair, School Resources Center Committee, Library Associations of Malaysia. She is also IFLA School Library Section Standing Committee member. She is respected advocate for library development and digital transformation in education. And our another panelist and our friend, Mr. Zakir Hussain, the Vice President of International Association of School Librarianships, IASL, a globally recognized expert in school library management, who will share invaluable insights and lessons we can adapt to the Bangladeshi context. On behalf of Librarian Voice, I extend an heartfelt gratitude to each of our joining us and sharing your time, experience, and passions for the betterment of school libraries. We believe that this webinar will not only highlight the global best practices, but also spark meaningful dialogue on how we can strengthen our foundations of our own school libraries and making them more dynamic, uh, and strengthening the foundation of our own schools and making them the more dynamic, inclusive, and future ready learning spaces for all students in Bangladesh. As we begin with the inspiring sessions, let us remember that a strong library is not just a collection of books. It is the heart of a school, a hub of a curiosity, and bridge to the future. Thank you. Thank you all once again for being with us, and let us learn, share, and celebrate together the spirit of International School Library Month 2025. Welcome to our webinar.
Uh, I'm sorry, but there is a technical issue. I can't hear anyone. Please give me a minute.
We can hear you.
Yes,
Go
we
ahead.
can hear you.
You were audible.
I really apologize for the inconvenience, but I still can't hear anyone.
Nadifa, you can ahead. Go ahead. I think there's a technical problem, and we can start with Luisa Marquardt. And
I think
what
it's
you were
Luisa,
thinking about, yeah, and can you share about your own countries, about Nadifa? I think Nadifa
All
joined
right.
with us.
At this point, I'd like to move on to the panel discussions. At first, I would like to talk about Luisa Marcoa, who is an adjunct professor at Roma Tre University, Rome, Italy. She has taught library and information science in the Department of Education since 2002. She has served as a certified librarian in high schools in Rome as well as an educator for librarians. She is actively involved in various library associations such as IFLA, IASL, AIB, and cultural organizations such as Forum del Libro, OPM, covering positions as Director Europe for IASL, International Association of School Librarianship from 2009 to 2016, IFLA School Libraries Section Standing Committee elected member, Secretary and Chair of IFLA Division E, and Head of a community library in Rome, Biblioteca Statuario. He has also been awarded the International School Librarianship Award in 2008. I would like to request Professor Marcoa to share her insights tonight with us. Please, you may start whenever you are ready.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me, for introducing me. And I'm particularly honored to share with Librarian's Voice team and the school library community at large my knowledge and experience, especially regarding Italy. My talk aims at providing a brief insight into recent developments in Italy, highlighting how international frameworks can support national initiatives and enhance school library systems through a cross-sector cooperation. After a general overview, a particular focus is given to three aspects: the impact of the IFLA UNESCO School Library Manifesto, both the 99 edition and the newly approved by UNESCO in April 2025 as a fundamental and guiding document for school library practice and policy. The role that school principals play in supporting the school library as a dynamic and inclusive learning environment linked with the local territory, for instance, with public libraries, children's libraries, academic libraries, and so on. And how, third, the last one, school library advocacy and related examples. Speaking on school library advocacy, of course, I will mention how the International School Library Month is well received and implemented in Italy. I'm not sure that I'm sharing my presentation. I don't know if it's still visible. Oh, yes. Okay. So I'm also the chair of the National Standing Committee on School Libraries for the Italian Library Association, which is a member of ISL and IFLA. So this is the outline. My presentation will be available. Some pictures are not visible. That doesn't matter. Italy is a republic with circa 60 million population, and the school system, the school instruction has 13 grades, 3 kindergarten, 5 primary school, 3 middle school, plus 5 senior upper secondary school, and then tertiary education. The Italian constitution grants school instruction for all, so it is mandatory and free, and but there is no legal no legal framework for school libraries and school librarians. We can only find a clear reference in the law 15 2020. It's the law that aims at promoting reading and supporting book promotion and so on. But and Article 5 clearly underline how relevant is school libraries' role, but as I said, as I mentioned, no legal framework for having the both school libraries and librarians as a job position clearly funded and so on. So the Italian school system is I don't see my presentation anymore. But, and sorry, I'm not sure if the presentation is still okay. Very briefly. Anyway, although this challenge, legal challenge, according to the implementation of the law on reading industry for education and merit, established a national plan, reading promotion implementation plan, where school libraries are clearly mentioned and engaged. And what's interesting that the advocacy years ago by and still the European Network for School Libraries Information Literacy, IAS, the International Association of School Librarianship, and IFLA School Libraries, a library in every school, after 15 years of campaigning, promoting, and so on, was in a very important step, because it was an important endorsement. And in the, for instance, the International Book Fair in Turin, or in other events and initiatives, the display area is under this tag, library in every school, una biblioteca in ogni scuola. This is very important. There is a portal, in the online portal, where the libraries map, this libraries distribution can be seen, and it's interactive, so each of the sign can be clicked on about that school libraries is displayed. And the portal shows also the school library networks that of course are made of many school libraries. There is I would say a movement to implement to enhance school libraries. For instance, you can see the same room, the same space, same floor, and but only changing the colors. This is a totally another environment. So the School Library Manifesto plays a very relevant role. Professional development initiatives. It was immediately, the new edition was immediately translated into Italian, distributed both as a poster or full text, but also published in this big volume that comprises several best practices from school libraries, and the full text of the manifesto, both the full text and the poster distributed for free, was shipped for free to all school libraries. In Italy, there are 9,000 schools with comprising circa 40,000 buildings. So a school institution building. So a huge number, although it's not recognized. This is ways of promoting the manifesto and several initiatives. This is something that is particularly key in Italy. I don't know what about your country, but this is, I think, a good suggestion, and much prove how fundamental is the school principal role in implementing, supporting, promoting the school library. Also, my personal experience and establishing, for instance, close contacts with the national school it was absolutely key to establishing a very fruitful collaboration. It was not as easy at the beginning, but along the time, so it was really, really fruitful. Of course, approaching school principals in Italy, I show them, I provide them with research findings and the latest book, School Librarians and Principals Reading Together. This is an IASL book published by Bloomsbury Libraries Unlimited on the 5th of October, so it's very, very new. This is a good way also to stimulate, to inform and stimulate school principals, the school library as a facilitator for learning and learning in vital, vibrant learning environments and so on. And these are just a few picks about regional meetings with school principals, national meetings, and also international meetings, because thanks to the close collaboration at global level with our dear and competent colleague Antonia Lojanat from Zagreb, who is also the current Director Europe for ISL and the founder of English team of Global Librarians as my very dynamic group. So it was possible for us to work together both, for instance, in another country, in Slovenia. We were together on the 15th of October, but we were last week in Rome at the International School Principals meeting promoted by the European School Heads Association. But it was really international, with participants from Singapore, Australia, Canada, all over the world. So to put on display the several translations of the posters in different languages, and also to we ran a workshop addressed to school principals and so on. So it was absolutely fundamental. You can see here a library in every school promoted by the Ministry of Education. The International School Library Month is an incredible, fruitful, stimulating way of promoting school libraries and school librarianship, and also making also the school librarians' role more visible and their impact on learning. What I experienced in my country was about engaging, for instance, personally engaging students in developing projects and doing something for the International School Library Month. This is, for instance, these are some pictures about the reopening of the school library, where students took the lead, guiding guests or interviewing and so on. So, but this is also an interesting teaching tool, because I always include in my in the course that starts at the beginning of October, so it's perfectly in time. I invite my students Some of them will be teachers, school teachers, some others librarians. So in any case, it's important they get very can be, so they develop a project. In many cases, this is also implemented, and this is a good way for them to become more aware. I'm about to close. I'll try to shorten my contribution. These are also pics from a primary school, and this school is amazing because every year they interpret the school library theme, International School Library Month theme, in a very dynamic and artificial intelligence. This is origami, bookmarks, and so on. In closing my presentation, my contribution, and of course I'm available for discussion. Just to provide you with an overview, was the one by the President of the Republic, Sergio Mattarella. And there is a series of school library meetings at Quirinale, which is the presidential venue site. And so these are pics from there. About implementing or promoting, enhancing school libraries or school librarians' role, I found very useful also some promotional materials. And when I was across this wonderful, amazing flyer, so I shared it with the president of the Italian Library Association, who is in favor of having it translated into Italian. And thanks to the close collaboration with the Slovenian colleagues, now we are in the phase of in Italian, same graphics, same, and I'm really thankful also to the graphic designer in Slovenia, so that distributing both in digital format, but also in meetings and on with parents, with politicians, with local administrators, we hope to move forward towards a better or full recognition of school libraries and school librarians in Italy. Just in case you are interested, the IFLA Continuing Professional Development and Workplacing media meeting that will take place in Rome last week of April on the theme "Everything is Connected." Like us, we are also connected, and there is an amazing professional development program in Istanbul the last week of June, but probably Maya will talk more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Marcois. We really appreciate you sharing your expertise with us. And up next, we would like to talk about Dr. Masri Abdulmajid, who serves as the library director at Kuwait International School, owned by LSL Education Group Malaysia. She's also the chair of the School Resource Center Committee under the Librarian Association of Malaysia, and a standing committee member of the School Library Section IFLA, as well as a joint committee member of the IASL IFLA. She has been awarded the Promising Librarian Award in 2023 and the Congress of Southeast Asian Librarians from South Young Librarian Award in 2025. I would request Dr. Mudi to share her insights with us tonight. The stage is all yours.
Good day and warm greetings to everyone. All right, so thank you, Ms. Nazifa, for the introduction. All right, so I would like to, it's truly an honor to be here today to share insights and experiences on a global perspective in the school library management and best practices, particularly from both the international and Malaysian context. I have been in the education field for 14 years. I beginning my career as a school teacher, then moving into the role of an academic librarian. Then my passion for school library innovation and student learning eventually led me to pursue a PhD in information management, focusing on school library management. So today I'm proud to say I am a school librarian by choice and by heart. Okay, so I will start to share with you. Okay, when we talk about global perspective, it is important to remember that best practices can be adapted, not just adopted. So in countries like Bangladesh and Malaysia, where resources can be limited, success lies not in having the most advanced facilities, but in maximizing creativity, collaboration, and community partnership. So here I like to share what we have done in my school library. So we built a partnership with our public libraries. Okay, for example, we have they grant us an access to their digital resources such as e-book, e-magazine. All right, so we have this kind of partnership. So I believe in Bangladesh also you can have that kind of partnership with your national library or your public library. Okay, then we have our student volunteer, or I call my students library ambassador, okay, to assist us to have a reading program. So in our school, reading program is quite different, which is we choose based they read the book in the library. Okay, then after that they have to tell us what the story is about. Okay, then we will acknowledge them by signing their reading book. Okay, so because I think most of the schools sometimes they have a top borrower. Okay, but then if you have that kind of reading program, we're not sure whether they really read or understand, because as a school librarian, when you conduct any reading program, the main objective is to improve their literacy. Am I right? Okay. And then implement shared resourcing system, which is maybe you can exchange, okay, maybe the multiple school can exchange material or digital subscriptions. So a library with limited resources can still create limitless opportunities if we focus on innovation and collaboration. So that's why I want to promote. Okay, yes, you can see my share is global. The team is from 4 of us. Okay, myself from Malaysia, my colleague Antonia Jana from Croatia, Dr. Maria from Indonesia, and Dr. Sophia from Nigeria. Okay, so when we talk about resources, okay, I know that maybe we don't want to spend much of funding, okay, on resources. So for me, I believe in innovation and collaboration. Okay, so maybe for the young librarian, it may be it's quite difficult for you. Where can I get the networking, everything? Right? So later on, I will share with you which organization or which association that you can join. All right. Next, I would like to share with you the skills for modern school librarian. So, as the school librarian and also library director, it's my responsibility to interview or hire the library staff. So, this is what I'm looking for, right? So, today's school librarians are no longer just a book custodians. Okay, we are information coaches, digital mentors, and learning collaborators. Okay, so to thrive in this digital era, librarians must develop skill in digital literacy and interaction. My staff, okay, he conducted makerspace in our library. So when we talk about makerspace, maybe you say, oh, it's a common thing everywhere. Okay. However, in our school, Lit International School, our makerspace is quite different because we will do the storytelling first. We will discuss the story with the students. Okay, and then we will ask the student, for example, this term is about which scene from the story that you want to build. So my librarian, he will teach the students using Tinkercad or using another tools. Okay, then we will print out the things using 3D printer, or they can use, or they can decorate it using 3D pen. Okay, so this is what we want for the young librarian. This is what the skill that you should have. Okay, first, and then second, of course, research guidance and information evaluation, which is you should involve with the co-teaching also, right? So then in my own school, okay, librarians, we teach with the subject teacher, which is we helping students navigate information resources. We assist the student how to evaluate credibility and how to use AI tools ethically. So this is the thing that about when we talk about the skill. Okay, as a young librarian, you should know what in trend right now. Okay, so I believe Louisa and Mr. Zakir, they okay, my good friend here, Dr. Louisa, actually she is one of my mentor. Okay, so when, and also Mr. Zakir, I got inspired from him because when he is an expert in AI actually. So when I conducted AI class in my student, I used the framework that he shared on on his LinkedIn. So that's why I say, as a young librarian, you don't have to be shy. You just connect with the expert in this field. Okay, for example, don't just you have to connect globally. Okay, so I think if you you active on LinkedIn, it's a one good advantage for you. Okay, then when we talk about collaboration with teacher in our school, we are very active collaborate with teachers. For example, we integrate information literacy into their lesson plan. Okay, so we co-design research skills classes for both students and teachers. Okay, so we ensure that information literacy is not taught in isolation but embedded in every subject area. So if you follow my LinkedIn, normally I will share what we have done for a certain week. For example, last week we assist students on how to do research but using AI. So what effective from they should use. Okay, and then the latest one, they create a book summary but using the serial box. Okay, so what we did is we did a book summary with the student, we did a book discussion with the student, and what they understand from the story, they create the serial box. Okay, they create a mini book. Okay, so do as a librarian, school librarian. Okay, now when we talk about promoting reading habit, yes, maybe reading is our main job. Okay, to promote the reading. So how to promote the reading among the both primary and secondary? Just want to share with you, every week we train primary student. Can you imagine, from year 2, which is they are 7 years old, we train them every week to share their favorite book during assembly. So from there, we can help them to develop their communication skill, okay, their reading skill, and for the most important thing, the comprehension skill, whether they understand the story or not. Then we, as I mentioned, that we collaborate with one of our public library in Malaysia, so we combining print and digital reading platform so that we have we reach the diverse learners about the collection. Okay, then of course when we talk about the we also celebrate our student reading achievement publicly, means that we will post for those who top reader every month. Okay, it's not that we want to bribe them, meaning that okay, if you want to read more, I will give you. No, that is a reward, because it's not easy, okay, to ask the secondary student especially to come to our library during their free time. So I think why not we give them something reward, just a small token. Also they feel appreciated, and also they feel that the librarian also recognize my achievement in reading, right? Then we also involve parents, okay, in our school library activity. For example, we have a parenting workshop. We support parents how they can read at home, how we can how to do the storytelling, for example. So and so as I mentioned, if you follow Maliki, normally we share what a parenting workshop. So as a school librarian, we not only serve for the students, okay, we serve for the whole school community. And then what I want to share also, we as librarian, for example, must do the research for their work. Okay, so because in our school, our principal she's very supportive in terms of research. So she like all the teachers to do research more, and if they know the latest finding, they can implement in their teaching. Right now, for the as a young school librarian, okay, don't stop to go for the professional development. Okay, so you can join the professional associations such as IFLA, okay, IASL. Okay, you have to participating in webinars, conferences, online courses. Okay, so if you want to know more about what we have done, okay, you can purchase this book. All right, so this is sorry, yeah, okay, you see, okay, I will share the link where you can get the book. So in this book, in the radical school librarianship, my team, okay, the global librarian, we share with the readers what we have done, what the example of activity that we have done. Okay, so you can purchase the book. Okay, I will share with you the link. All right, so this is where you can purchase the book. Okay, and then when we talk about professional development, what I want to share with you next year, as I mentioned by Dr. Luisa, we will organize, okay, another workshop. This is a small group, which is, I think it's good for the young librarians, okay, to join us. So that is the link whereby you can have a look, and then maybe you have a thought with where you can if you want to join us. Okay, so all right, so in conclusion, I just want to emphasize that the school library is not just a room with book. Okay, so it is the heart of learning, the engine of innovation, and bridge between knowledge and curiosity. So thank you so much for your attention, and I hope that this highlight inspire us to all to empower learners through libraries.
Thank you, Dr. Majid. That was a wonderful overview. And now I'd like to move on to our next guest, Zakir Hussain. Zakir Hussain is a teacher, librarian, and advocate for school librarianship with extensive international experience in Bangladesh, Vietnam, Saudi Arabia, Switzerland, and the Netherlands. He currently serves as the Vice President of the International Association of School Librarianship, IASL. Zakir has received multiple awards and grants for his research in education and librarianship in several international projects exploring AI literacy and digital readiness among teachers and librarians. Now,
Thank you, Librarian Boris. Thanks for having me. It's good to see also Luisa and Dr. Maya. I think they pretty much cover already everything, and what I want to just emphasize on the collaborations part. If the library, as they both mentioned, that library is the heart of the school, and then the library, if the library is the heart of the library school, then the librarian is again the oxygen of that school, if we can see that way. So they mentioned a number of activities. I think probably during our last webinar, I share with our local Bangladeshi colleagues that what we do and programs that cover. As you know, probably that for our international colleagues to join this webinar, in Bangladesh, actually statutory, we have the school library and librarian positions, which Italy may not have that. I'm sure that Italy does not have a statutory law to have every school should have a library or librarian, but in Bangladesh, by the law, that we should have a school library or librarian in every secondary school. So which we already get, like, by the National Education Policy 2010 clearly mentions the structure of the school and guided by the qualified school library professionals. Then in 2020-21, our school library professionals even get the teaching status, like kind of they are now equivalent to the teachers. And at the same time, the government also introduced the school library hours, as you know that. So the school library hours is that students will come to the library for reading, for any other inquiry, research, development, information literacy, and things like that. Of course, the reading promotions is the heart of the library, as you know, especially in Bangladesh context now, because still we are library using as the reading promotion or reading development, or particularly for the reading for pleasure rather than reading for academic purpose and things like that. Although the library actually cater both types of books, the textbooks and reading for promotion or reading for pleasure types of book. I want to also mention that now what we need to do, so that we have the statutory recognitions like equivalent to the teachers. For the librarians are the teaching professions. And as I say that during my last speech of this librarian webinar, I was focusing on how librarian can develop themselves in terms of professional development, especially to the young professionals, those who are really dreaming their career in school libraries. First of all, as Maya said, like that, she is a librarian by choice and by heart. So do we need to think about that? Like, are we actually, those who are working in school libraries in Bangladesh, do you really like your professions? Do you feel proud of your professions? Or it is just like a bread-winning position? We have to think of that way. If you really believe in your professions, trust in your, professions, you love your professions, then you always have room to improve. And that's and how can you do that? That's the professional development. How can we do the professional development? Of course, beside our educational, degrees and things like that, there are lots of other online courses that we can improve. We can follow the school library professional or teacher librarian or school library educators on LinkedIn, on social media. There are lots of other different groups of school library professionals share the experience of how they are doing, promoting the reading, how they kind of organizing the book week, organizing the literary weeks, how they are collaborating with the parents, how they are working with the principals, and things like that. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are lots of examples out there. We just need to adopt the best fit approach in your context. And then reading promotions, like nowadays, if you have a PC, then and most of the students actually have the device either for them or for their parents, and they can access to the ebooks. And there are lots of ebooks that's in open access mode that you can actually also promote within them. also collaborating with the principals, or in our context in Bangladesh, we call it headmaster, like the head of school. Although I have never worked in schools in Bangladesh, except a couple of English medium schools, so I know that like it's going to be very challenging for many of you, but I'm also at the same time very optimistic that there are still some headmasters that will be very happy to help and promote their library for others. And last week, actually, I was proposing that our Bangladeshi school library professionals can arrange job alike. Like say, for example, district-wise, if I am from XYZ district, then we all school library professionals can meet on a particular day, like so twice a year is very much possible, and come and share the best practice, what you are doing, what is working in your context, how you convince your principal, how you collaborate with your co-worker, like the teachers in this context. So that's the practical experience. Or in my context, is sometimes may not fit in your context, but when a colleague from your context, from your own district or from your own country actually share how they are working with their principal, how they are collaborating with their parents, how they're collaborating with their co-workers, co-teaching, or organizing the book fair, reading promotions, that would be really the point that you can start from, and then that you can make it better. The other thing is, I would say also like some small initiatives. Like for example, if you want to run a program, for example, reading promotions, so which students in each grade read the top books of this particular year or particular semester, like say 6 months, and then you can give them some certificates for the best reader or the top reader for each grade, like say first, second, and third. That's how students will be encouraged. Teacher will see that like our library professionals, our school librarians are really promoting the reading, and he's encouraging the students to read the books by giving the certificate, reaching out to the parents. Maybe sometimes you can arrange some sort of meetings or talk with the parents that how can you promote the readings, and parents can help. Student ambassador that Maya mentioned is also another things that we can think of. Like for each grade, you can select one student who will work as your library ambassador, so that the students will talk with their friends or the peers that which book she like and why they will give some kind of book talk and things like that. So that's how you engage with your community, be it principal, be it with your co-teacher, with the students and parents, and that's all together will actually bring your library to the spotlight of the school. And that's how it become the heart of the school or the center of the inquiry and reading and learning. And I must admit that there is no one size fit all approach that we can suggest. Maybe in my context, I work in international school, budget is another problem. I handle like $50,000, $52,000 per year for my library. Money is not a big deal here. But whereas in Bangladesh, we have struggling with the basic things that we can do. So I know that I don't want to bring my context, but I think small ideas that people are sharing or sharing on online, sharing on a webinar that you can think of in your context. I would say that like making a student ambassador is a very easy job. Talking with your principals, reach out to them, and then you want to organize, for example, a reading competition within the school context, or you want to invite a local, expert like an author, or it can be a prominent person, those who like reading or promote reading. This kind of small things is very much possible in every context. It is under finance schools or well-financed schools, both are fine. But on top of that, as I say that a school library without a qualified and proactive librarian is just a building. So you as a school library professional need to be proactive, and you need to reach out to the parents, your coworker, the teachers, and the community school board member, and things like that. That's how they will see that your activeness, and they will support you. Maybe not this year, might be next year. There is not something that you can get it in 1 year or so, But I think in Bangladesh we have very good ground now, because we have the statutory law, our national education policy supports school librarian and school librarians. We have our library hours that you can claim from your principal or the head of school or headmaster, or whatever you say, and then you can really bring the students into reading. Now, like for example, in our schools, reading has become like a very normal. We are working with AI literacy, we are working with information literacy or digital literacy. In Bangladeshi context, maybe still it is very challenging, but maybe I'm sure that there are some schools that have the advanced atmosphere, they can do it. And again, as Maya said, that like follow some of the social media influencers, those who are working with these things. And also, us, you can reach out to us. There are lots of other, online blogs and bloggers, they're writing of those things. And it's very easy to translate, even if we have the language barrier and things like that. And from the national level, I think that our Ministry of Education and Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, so our school library professional from their organizations, they can really reach out to them and ask for different, reading promotion activities. Like one of my article published in the school library, status of school library and librarians in Bangladesh from IFLA Journal. There I proposed actually we should have a national reading day. We should have a national library week and things like that. So these things probably need to move forward from under the School Library Association of Bangladesh, or it can be Library Association of Bangladesh. We need to have some, reach out to the policymaker. In Louisa's case, for example, she is a faculty member of her university, does offer the school librarianship course. So she herself actually reached out to the policymaker, to the provincial, people, those who are responsible for these things. And last week, again, I was talking about what our faculty members from the University of Dhaka or University of Rajshahi, and there are other universities, those who offer library information science degree, they have a better positions to reach out to the policymaker, to reach out to the directorate that actually handle the school librarians or school library or public library, things like that. If they reach out, then our school library professional will get more highlighted, and people will know that what school librarians can do and what change they can bring. Also, school librarians need to have the, I would say that what we call the evidence-based practice, like how it can be a result-wise, it can be students' behavior. There are lots of other things that you can improve, that how is school library actually, adding value to the schools. So every year, for example, in our schools, we have to write a report that what we have done and how does it impact the whole school community. What are the statistics and things like that. So this kind of evidence-based practice, our school library professionals can do that. This will be the highlight for the country. And then when, as I say, that if we have some kind of job alike or conference or seminar only for school librarians, then they can share those highlights with the community. And that's how every single school library professionals will get to know eventually, and then they will try to fit in their context. So, well, yeah, I think I can keep on and on with these things, but considering the time, I would stop right now. And if we have any questions, I think our colleagues, Luisa,
Thank you, Mr. Hussain. Those were some really valuable advice in the context of Bangladesh. At this point of our webinar, I'd like to move forward to our question and answer session. My first question would be to Professor Luisa Marfua. In your presentation, you have mentioned that there is a way to transform existing physical structures of the library to something more creative and imaginary, so the school children or young people are more drawn to these places. Now, Bangladesh is a country with a big population and our resources limited. So I would like you to share your opinion on if we can also try to convert our existing structures to something more creative, so more students are drawn to libraries, and if yes, then what would be the best or the most efficient way to do it? Thank you.
Speaking, I also see the question how libraries integrated, how are libraries integrated into the European curriculum. So there is also a matter of for the school library, it's also a matter of curriculum integration. So in countries like mine, the school library fully integrated in the school curriculum, in the school annual program, and so on. It's a bit hard. Schools are autonomous, so there is a national framework, but schools are autonomous, so they can establish their own annual and triennial program, 3-year program, and they are free to focus their technology or social or whatever else. So not necessarily the library, the teacher librarian are involved in this. So this is in the schools. In schools where the school library is fully considered and integrated into the school curriculum, and also the cultural curriculum or the external curriculum is shared with the territory, with public libraries and so on. So the role is more absolutely more. There in speaking of Europe, there are so many different countries with different cultural background, language, and so on. So those countries like Slovenia, Croatia, Portugal, where school libraries and trained qualified school librarians are members of the action and the impact of a functioning school library with a qualified school librarian is totally different from countries where it's up to the individual school, or in countries like France, where the professor documentalist, the school information secondary level, secondary school level, middle and senior high. So there is a kind of leopard skin. I will, let me share very briefly. Let me share this topic very briefly. An experience or and its suggestion. For instance, I tried to promote new concept, a new idea of the school library, a more dynamic, more integrated learning environment. Not exactly adapting, but transferring the IFLA School Library Guidelines, the second edition that was published in 2015, in the practical school library handbook. I shared the freely available online, and it at least shares some basics about school libraries and school librarianship. For instance, the school library is not only for reading promotion. It's not free reading promotion only, but reading education, literacy. So, and also the wealth or the still a large growing family of literacies. Information literacy, media information literacy, digital literacy, AI literacy, green literacy. So in this booklet, you find also some basic information with useful links to resources available, freely available. And so I think that probably connecting with the School Principal Association, School Teachers Association, transferring some global documents like IFLA School Libraries Guidelines or the Manifesto, putting them or customizing them in some way to your specific context could be really, really valuable. And what I found very useful, for instance, the importance of having multiple translations. For instance, for the school library, IFLA UNESCO School Library Manifesto and its poster, I found very, very useful to reach out to not only library associations and IFLA, IASO members, but also Department of Education. So I worked very closely with the Department of Education of the Ministry of the Philippines and the officer in charge of the school libraries at national level, of course, in Filipino Tagalog. So it was really, really important. Although English is spoken in the Philippines, but it was really, really important to have the School Library Manifesto fully endorsed by the Ministry of Education and spread in English, but also in other national languages. So I think that also working at this level is very important, reaching out to ministries and or key departments. Sorry for speaking so long, but I wanted to share my experience in both at national and also global level, because it was a commitment under the wearing the IFLA school.
Thank you, Professor Mark, for answering the question so beautifully. Now, from the audience, we have a question for Mr. Hussain. What kind of IASL support is possible for Bangladeshi library?
What type of activities, right?
Could you repeat it, please?
What's the question?
Oh, the question is, what kind of IASL support is possible for Bangladeshi library?
Well, ISL has on their website, there are lots of free resources that anyone can get it, first of all. The second thing is that if an individual became a member of IASL, they have the access to further resources as well as IASL newsletter. The membership for Bangladesh is quite, I would say, cheaper, like $15 per year, which is reasonable. Or Bangladesh, like the School Library Association themselves can also become a member as a partner member, what you call, and they can have access to them. That's it. And the other thing is that if they provide some local trainings and things like that. IASL is a non-profit organizations, and it doesn't have much budget for offering the in-house training to the different regions, but they have, as I said, that they have lots of resources, their expertise, and they can support a lot from online things. One thing I would like to mention also, and Maya is involved with that, is the international is across the world. There are so many school librarians, teacher librarians join with this bookmark exchange program. And the Luisa, I also want to make that I'm actually working with UNESCO IFLA School Library Manifesto to translate it into Bengali. My bad that it's been a while actually. She has given me this stuff, but I haven't started to work. So this webinar definitely an inspiration to get the job done. I think I have another question is that what type of activities should Bangladeshi school library professionals do? I think I have already mentioned a number of activities, but I want to actually challenge them with the first three, right? For this, try the simple activities that for each grade level or each class in Bangladesh we call class. So each class level you select a library ambassador from students. That's one thing that you start with, and the second things you will do that every 6 months you will actually keep record of that which students are reading the most books. So each grade, for example, you select top 3 and give them certificate. And there are lots of free template available online. If you go to canva.com, there are so many different types of certificates that you can use. Just write down and print it out, write down the student name. They will be very happy. It will be work as a WOM, word of mouth. Each students will talk, oh, I get certificate from the library, and you will have your free promotion within the community. So that's the second challenge for the Bangladeshi school librarian. The third things that some of the proactive and good, well-organized library, I would say that do Battle of the Books competition. Battle of the Books competition within your school, or you can say that like the বাংলা বললে আমরা হবে যে বই পড়া প্রতিযোগিতা, ঠিক আছে? So Battle of the Books is like that. For example, if you have from grade 6 to grade 10 school, in our context, actually in our context for Maya and Luisa, our schools are pretty much like for secondary school we have grade 6 to grade 10. Grade 11 and 12 is a college level, but I know that in Europe and many other countries it's the high school. Grade 6 to 10 is the secondary school. So those who want to arrange the Battle of the Books, what you can do, what books you have in your library, like say for the new books, kind of like 1 year or 2 maximum, like the data publications, and you select few books, like 3 or 5 books, and you actually call the teams. From the team can be consist of any grade, like say 1 from 6, 1 from 7, 1 from 8, 9, 10. So 5 students make one group, and they may have different groups, and they sign up as that which 5 books you want to nominate for the Battle of the Books for this particular year. And then I'm sure that students should buy the books. If the school library has the budget, normally in our context, we buy the books. The school buy the books for the students, but I understand also in Bangladesh is quite highly unlikely that we can't afford, our school may not buy the books, or go to a kind of industrialized, or someone who has, who want to promote his company or something like that. Take a budget of 2,000 to 3,000 taka, or like around $50, and you buy those books locally and give the students and give them 3 to 4 months to read the books and arrange the question and things like that, and arrange a school-wide competition for the Battle of the Books. If you can do it 1 year, next year you reach out to a next school, which one is nearest to you, and do this the inter-school Battle of the Books, like your school with another schools. And that's how actually the librarians can do something really interesting. and you as a librarian, people will like, you get some kind of highlight and people will really admire you. So this is kind of promotion for yourself, your library, your schools. And that's how when you go to your principal next year that I want to arrange the Battle of the Books for next year, then his principal will be supporting you either financially, or he knows which person you should go to get some financial support. So let's get started with these three things first, and then you will know then what value you have to add next, or what kind of activities that you can do next year. I hope this
Thank you, Mr. Zaki, for finding those for some really creative ideas. Our next question is to Dr. Majid. This is also from one of our viewers. How can libraries support learning with limited budgets?
Okay, so just sharing what I have done. Okay, before, not in my current school, in my previous school. First, we are maximize free and open educational resources. Okay, but you should identify your student level. For example, maybe for pre-primary or you want to, I'm always use storyline. Okay, on YouTube as a free. Okay, for YouTube. So maybe you can suggest to them to use a directory of open access journal. Okay, so I believe as a librarian, you know this better, where you can get the free and open resources. Okay, but I would like to emphasize here, you should train your students and teacher on how to locate, evaluate, and ethically use these free resources. Okay, that one first thing. Second, what we have done is we had a partnership, okay, and collaboration with one of the public library, which is these resources, e-books, academic textbook. Okay, so that one is the second thing. All right. Then we also partner with our local publisher. So we got a book donation, we got a free book share for them. So that's why I said the networking and collaboration is important. Okay, that one second. The third thing that we have done is we encourage teacher to integrate the library into their classroom project, so that the library become part of everyday learning. So this is important because as I mentioned by Mr. Zakir, you have to do something in your school library so that your management see your value. So from that, the fund will come to you. Okay, we cannot ask for free resources for the rest of our life, of course, right? So first thing first, you start with the partnership with your local and local public libraries, okay, or your national libraries. Okay, then use low cost technology smartly. So in our school, okay, my school library, we only have one PC or desktop. Okay, because that is where we set up our self-checkout machine station. That is where the student can read e-resources or such as e-book and online. So we have one on desktop, and we have bring your own device policies for guided research activity. So we encourage students to bring their own device to school. So school library and school, you don't have to set up the computer lab anymore. So this is what based on my experience. Okay. Yeah, that is what I can share with you. And when we talk about the create a reading culture, yes, we have a lot of free activity. For example, we have online storytelling conducted by my friend from overseas. Okay, so and then we invited our local book author. Okay, so for the local book author, they did not charge us, but in return we can help them to promote their book. Okay, so that one another thing. Then that's why I said and I agree with Mr. Zakir, which is you have to collect data and your success story so that to show how the library supports student achievement and literacy. So that's why in my school, okay, every year we collect all this data and then we presented to top management. Okay, so this is what we have done. How many, for example, we've fully utilized all the free resources. Okay, so that is that's my answer to all to the question. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Mujeeb, for your wonderful
If you
answers.
don't mind,
Yeah.
I would like to
Sorry.
add very briefly how important is students protagonism is. So when students are directly fully engaged and also creators of new info, creating a book trailer or something like that is very common in many countries. But this is something that I found very useful also, like service learning. The service learning approach is particularly engaging, stimulating, and also self-esteem development and collaboration, ownership and self-direction. So in the meantime, working together, they develop both responsibility. They become more aware and respect the rights the rights of the others. And in the meantime, they also learn to share, to work together. So I think that's also more engaging reading and production. I would say practice. This could be very useful. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Marco. Incredible and fun discussion has been. Yeah, sure. Please continue. Would you like to add something?
What and also speaking again of the how impactful the International School Library Month activity can be. I would like to mention this practice from a school in Portugal, where 8th graders, so at the end of the middle school, students aged 13, more or less 12, 13, 14 years old. The school library worked closely with the teacher of geography. So the theme this year is about beyond the shelf, AI, libraries, and the future of stories. So students worked and discussed with both the librarian and their school teacher about countries, maps, cartography, and so on. And they were invited to create, to think of a new territory, a new country, continent, whatever else. And they worked on their own, and they create their own ideal country. They described this country and so on. And then they used AI, submitting a very, very detailed and personalized prompt, and they generated very different maps, absolutely amazing the result. So the personal creativity, group discussion, the personal ideas and creativity, and then the output were simply amazing, because they also learn the proportion that the distances have to be in proportion and so on. So it was really amazing, the combination of different aspects, topic, subject, creativity, technical aspects, and so on. So the impact, the commitment, the engagement of students was simply amazing. Their motivation grew so much. Their interest. Yeah.
Thank you once again, Professor Markwa, for your enthusiasm in this session. And it has been a really insightful discussion tonight. I'm afraid we must bring this session to an end because we have reached the end of our time for this. Now, once again, on behalf of everyone here, I want to extend our most profound thanks to our esteemed speakers, Dr. Mazay Abdul Mazid, Professor Luisa Markwa, and Mr. Lucky Stein. And of course, thank you to the Librarian Voice for your vision and organizing this vital event. I am Nazifa Anjum, and it has been an absolute honor to be your host for the celebration of International School Library Month 2025. With this, I am concluding this webinar. Thank you all, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you all. Hope we will meet in another session with another topic. Hope for the best.